5G towers.
That's a fun topic, right?
Yeah. There's a really great website called antennasearch.com. You can go to antennasearch.com if you're listening to this, and you can put in your zip code, and it will tell you how many 5G towers, Wi-Fi towers are within a radius of where you are located that could interfere with cellular energy. If you look at now the study of frequency medicine, I mean, we know that the body is just a giant ball of frequency, right? Emotional states have direct impact on cellular function. The surface of our cells communicate with their outside environment through frequency. And I don't think that the final shoe is dropped on 5G. And this is another one that I tell people, use your phone on speakerphone, get a corded headset. And now some of these headsets are so powerful with RF frequency going through the brain, because they don't just communicate with the phone, they actually communicate with each other. If you've ever used an iPhone earpod, if you take one out, it shuts off.
Right.
I mean, it's not doing that through the communication with the phone. It's doing that with the communication through the brain. Now you can be 300 feet from your phone. So the amount of RF frequency at that distance is very, very, very powerful. So, my preference for, to protect yourself against 5G is just get a corded headset, use your phone on speakerphone as much as possible.
Some countries just banned some iPhone models I saw too.
Yeah, France was the first one to ban the latest version of the iPhone because of the amount of EMF frequency coming out of it.
Nuts.
It's mind-numbing. If you go right into the settings of your phone, it will actually show you and warn you not to put the phone to your head.
Oh my God.
It says that it was tested 10 to 12 inches from the body, and they recommend using it 10 to 12 inches. Well, 10 to 12 inches, you have to be on speakerphone or a corded headset to do that.
So what exactly is it doing, the radiation doing to the body?
So if you think about frequency in general, so there's a concept in physics, there's a law in physics, it's called constructive interference. It says that if two frequencies of equal wavelength meet, the size of the frequency doubles. And then there's an opposite law in physics that's called destructive interference. It says if two frequencies of opposite wavelength meet, they cancel out. So if you match the frequency of a cell, you can either amplify its activity or you can cancel its activity. When you start to cancel the activity of a cell, like what's called the ion channel, which is, if you think of a cell as a kind of like a tennis ball, and it actually has a membrane that's protecting it, and it's two layers. It's called a phospholipid bilayer, bi being two. There's an outside layer and an inside layer. So things leave the cell and enter the cell through these channels, right? The little ports. They're called ion channels. And so for something to enter a cell or leave a cell, to eliminate waste, repair, detoxify, regenerate, these ion channels have to be functioning perfectly. Well, 5G frequency matches the frequency of some of these ion channels. That's the best way that I can explain it. So now you're interrupting cellular respiration. You're interrupting cellular activity, meaning you're impeding that cell's capacity to eliminate waste, repair, detoxify, regenerate, to divide. And when you do that, especially in the proximity of where you hold the phone, and then you see things like trigeminal neuralgias in one of the cranial nerves. You see an increased risk for all forms of brain cancer. There's been a parabolic rise in brain cancer. Some people directly relate it to cell phone usage.
Dang, I didn't know that.
You don't want to fearmonger, but the truth is, if you can use a speakerphone or a corded headset, you can significantly mitigate your risk.
And I just bought this anti-EMF chip too. Have you seen these?
Yeah, we have.
That's actually a really good one. That's actually one where I read, I'm not saying the other ones don't work, but I read all of the clinical data on that and the clinical studies, and it's really interesting that scatter technology it really works, and it diffuses the EMF, not only when you're on a call, but all the time.
Yeah,
so
you said I can sleep next to it now too.
Yeah, you can sleep next to it now.
Yeah.
I've read too that it has a lot to do with sperm count, that men's sperm count is going lower because it's affecting their fertility, because they put it, if you put it in your front pocket.
In your pocket,
that it's better to keep it in your back pocket. Is that also true?
Yeah, well, follicular cells, and so if you think of the testicle as kind of like a yin and yang symbol, one side produces sperm, and those are governed by what's called follicular cells, and then the other side produces luteal cells that produce testosterone. So the same organ produces testosterone and sperm, and the spermatogenesis, this production of sperm, and something called meiosis, the division of cells in cells, specifically in the testicles, are highly, highly, highly susceptible to radiation, to frequency. So when we carry them in our pocket, next to our groin, we're actually, directing that radiation to our scrotum, which can have a negative effect on sperm.